Japan has just handed Ukraine a powerful new tool in its fight against Russia, a game-changing advantage in the form of advanced satellite surveillance. This shift is poised to revolutionize Ukraine's military capabilities, allowing it to strike Russian targets with greater precision and speed than ever before. The key? 3 words: Synthetic Aperture Radar, or SAR. On April 22nd, Japan announced it would begin providing Ukraine with satellite intelligence gathered by its SAR-equipped satellites. This data adds a critical layer to the geospatial imagery Ukraine already receives from its allies and marks a significant leap in Japan's level of cooperation with Kyiv. As noted by the New Voice of Ukraine and the Deep State Monitoring Group, this is Japan's first step of this magnitude in terms of defense collaboration. The Japanese company IQPS is responsible for delivering the data, which will now flow directly into the Ukrainian military intelligence system known as HUR. These satellites will supply battlefield imagery far beyond what Ukraine previously had access to. So what makes SAR so special? Unlike conventional satellites, which rely on visible light and struggle under cloud cover or at night, SAR satellites use radar pulses sent from onboard antennas. These pulses bounce off the Earth's surface and return as echoes, which are then processed to create high-resolution images. This means that even in poor weather or complete darkness, SAR satellites can provide clear, reliable visuals. As YouTuber Wes O'Donnell puts it, SAR is essentially sonar for space, offering more clarity and timeliness than traditional imagery, and even letting analysts detect minute changes over time, such as tire tracks, disturbed Earth, or camouflaged movements. With a SAR, Ukraine gains the ability to track Russian activity in near real time, regardless of conditions on the ground. Putin's forces can no longer hide behind clouds, darkness, or camouflage. This all-seeing eye ensures that any movement by Russian troops can be immediately countered by Ukrainian forces, and this breakthrough comes courtesy of Japanese innovation. While SAR isn't a new concept, it's typically been costly and unwieldy to implement. Standard SAR satellites can weigh over 2,000 pounds, making them difficult and expensive to launch, but Japan's IQPS has changed the game. As one of only 5 private companies globally to operate SAR satellites, IQPS has managed to produce compact satellites that weigh just 220 pounds. These smaller units are significantly cheaper, but still deliver high-resolution imagery with a detail level down to 18.1 inches, precise enough to identify vehicles, tents, or weaponry. And Japan isn't stopping there. On March 14th, Rocket Lab successfully launched a SAR satellite for IQPS, the first of 8 launches scheduled under contract. 6 more are expected in 2025 and 2 in 2026. Combined with a launch from December 2023, this means Ukraine could have around 10 operational IQPS satellites providing real-time battlefield intelligence by the end of 2026. But Japan isn't alone in this. Ukraine is also receiving SAR support from Germany, Italy, and Finland. In Finland's case, the data comes directly from ISAI, the same company that helped explain SAR technology in the first place. These countries, longtime supporters of Ukraine's defense, have been contributing SAR imagery in addition to military aid. Germany has pledged 18.44 billion euros in total support, with the majority going toward military purposes. Italy and Finland have also made meaningful contributions, and all 3 are part of the European Union, which has committed over 138 billion euros in aid to Ukraine, with an additional 122 billion euros planned. Japan ranks 5th among Ukraine's top donors, behind only the US, EU, UK, and Germany, with its contributions primarily focused on humanitarian and financial support until now. Japan has traditionally avoided direct military involvement, but this decision to provide battlefield-relevant satellite intelligence marks a significant policy shift. It signals Tokyo's growing alignment with Ukraine and opposition to Russian aggression. Japan's commitment is also part of a broader trend. Since Russia's invasion began, Japan has taken on a more active international role. In 2023, while holding the G7 presidency, it helped keep global focus on Ukraine. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida even visited Ukraine, the first Japanese leader to travel to a war zone since World War II. In 2024, the Japan-Ukraine Conference on Economic Growth and Restructuring led to the signing of over 50 cooperation documents between public and private sectors. By August, Japan became the first non-NATO country to sign a bilateral security pact with Ukraine. Under this agreement, Japan pledged non-lethal military aid and deeper cooperation on security. This formalized what had already become a strong partnership. Japan has also supplied Ukraine with 101 military vehicles, including Mitsubishi Type 73 light utility vehicles. On top of that, in May 2024, Japan sent precision engineering tools essential for assessing damage to transport infrastructure. critical for repairing roads, bridges, and railways destroyed by Russia. What makes all of this especially significant is Japan's historical tendency toward neutrality in global conflicts. This shift in posture underscores a broader transformation in Japan's defense policy. Once firmly committed to pacifism, Japan is now boosting its defense spending dramatically, from $48.2 billion in 2023 to $55.3 billion in 2024, the largest annual increase since 1952. Article 9 of Japan's constitution, which prohibits war as a means of settling international disputes, is increasingly being pushed aside. Japan has even purchased 400 Tomahawk cruise missiles from the US, signaling its willingness to stand firm if provoked. Security cooperation has expanded as well. Beyond Ukraine, Japan has signed reciprocal access agreements with the UK, Australia, and the Philippines, and continues to strengthen ties with the US, focusing on nuclear deterrence and high-level defense dialogues. Clearly, Japan is no longer content with being a background player. Though it hasn't sent weapons to Ukraine yet, the direction is unmistakable. Its SR support is already feeding real-time battlefield data directly to Ukrainian drone operators, artillery units, and HIMARS crews. This intelligence includes where Russian vehicles are hidden, when convoys stop, and where new trenches appear. There's no delay in transferring this data. Japan doesn't filter or slow down the information. It's immediate and it's total. Russia's SR capabilities, by contrast, are outdated and infrequent, with long delays between image captures. That puts Russia at a major disadvantage. With Japan's help, Ukraine is now operating several steps ahead of its enemy, targeting Russian assets faster than they can adapt. And that will only become more true as 2025 progresses. If that weren't enough, Ukraine is further expanding its space-based capabilities. On June 23rd, it joined a consortium of Eastern European and Nordic nations to fund a $115 million project, the creation of a 70-satellite constellation called Intermarsat. Orbiting at 310 miles, this system will cover everything from the Baltic to the Mediterranean, including Russian territory, and all without American involvement. This is vital. In March 2025, following a failed meeting between President Zelensky and US President Donald Trump, the US briefly cut off Ukraine's access to its satellite network. Though the interruption was short-lived, it revealed how vulnerable Ukraine had become to decisions made in Washington. While US intelligence support continues for now, the episode showed the importance of building independent alternatives. Japan's SAR, along with imagery from Europe, ensures Ukraine won't be left blind again. And finally, the SAR data is more than just a surveillance tool. It's a fully integrated system that gives Ukraine the real-time battlefield awareness needed to anticipate and counter Russian movements before they unfold. Russia simply can't match that. Not in speed, not in clarity, not in quantity. Thanks to Japan, Ukraine now possesses one of the most powerful reconnaissance systems in modern warfare. And as the conflict drags on, this advantage could prove decisive, especially as Russia struggles with growing losses and shrinking options.